How Virgin Atlantic started, grew, and became a $7 billion company. Founders of Virgin Atlantic Airlines, Randolph Fields and Alan Hillary, might have earned their place in the history books, but their tale is merely a footnote on the page of another founder, Sir Richard Branson, a man who went from hiring a plane and writing Virgin Airlines, One Way, BVI on a blackboard to nurturing one of the United Kingdom's largest airlines for more than 3 decades. Virgin Atlantic is a British airline that operates about 32 flights non-stop between the United Kingdom and North America, with its head office located in Crawley, UK. How Virgin Atlantic started. After the British victory in the 1982 Falklands War, American-born lawyer Randolph Fields conceived a plan about operating an airline between the UK and its reclaimed Falkland Islands. However, Fields knew little about planes or UK's aviation industry in general. He needed someone with in-depth knowledge, so he enlisted the assistance of a former Laker Airways pilot, Alan Hillary. Together, Fields and Hillary co-founded the British Atlantic Airways and set their ambitions in motion. In 1983, a survey of the Port Stanley Airport in the Falkland Islands revealed a glaring issue: its short runway. On its own, a short but well-maintained runway was no less safe than a longer runway. But this was no ideal situation. First, taking off and landing on such a runway would prove difficult, especially for larger aircraft, which were an important component within Fields and Hillary's calculation. Second, the cost of increasing the runway's length outweighed the benefits of establishing an airline service in Port Stanley Airport. Thus, Fields and Hillary scrapped the idea of operating a route between the UK and the Falkland Island. However, they kept their options open by considering the commercial route between Gatwick Airport, London and JFK International Airport, New York. The Civil Aviation Authority rejected the application for a license due to objections from British Airways and other airlines already operating those routes. As the saying goes, third time is the charm. Fields and Hillary managed to secure a license to operate the route between Gatwick Airport and Newark Liberty International Airport, New Jersey. They also leased an American aircraft, McDonnell Douglas DC-10. Though it was no ideal Boeing 747, its relatively smaller size, 380-seat capacity and powerful engines for long-haul flights served its purpose for the time being. But the longer British Atlantic Airways operated, the more apparent the need for additional funds became. To compound this issue, British Atlantic Airways faced competition from an American airline, People Express, who was more successful at the time due to its low cost and around-the-clock flights. By late 1983, Fields contacted British investor and Virgin Group founder Richard Branson. After tense negotiations, Branson agreed to a 75% stake in British Atlantic Airways under one condition: swim or sink. Either the airline succeeds in its first year or Branson walks away. Fields was then appointed the chairman and Branson renamed the British Atlantic Airways to Virgin Atlantic Airways. Virgin Atlantic became part of Branson's holding company, Virgin Group. How Virgin Atlantic grew. With the financial aid of Branson's Virgin Records, Virgin Atlantic was able to lease a second-hand Boeing 747-200. By operating during summer, considered the peak period of air travel, Virgin Atlantic achieved success within a year, with sufficient profits to lease a second Boeing 747-200. Now, Branson had full interest in the airline business and began to propose some radical changes to Virgin Atlantic operations. Of course, Fields did not share Branson's ideas. From the onset, Branson's sink or swim approach towards Virgin Atlantic's future rubbed Fields the wrong way, and eventually Fields stepped down from his position as chairman and sold his 25% stake to Branson. In 1984, Virgin Atlantic continued its operations between Gatwick and Newark. The airline started taking steps to expand. Its first step was a small one. Unlike its long-range planes like the Boeing, Virgin Atlantic leased the British BAC-111 for short-range travel, operating the route between Gatwick Airport and Maastricht-Achen Airport, Beek, Netherlands. Virgin Atlantic's second and subsequent steps continued from 1986 onwards. The acquisition of another Boeing 747 and other long-range aircrafts expanded their operations, enabling the airline to operate routes between Gatwick to the Far East and several cities in North America. Between the late 1980s and early 1990s, Virgin Atlantic had built a distinguishing reputation for entertaining their passengers and providing them with a unique experience during their flight. Branson felt that most airlines cared more about their profits than passengers or even the crew too. Under Branson's direction, Virgin Atlantic introduced 3 classes for passengers: economy, premium, and upper class. Economy class, the standard class, where passengers were provided with free meals and drinks. Premium class, where passengers were provided with the benefits of economy, with priority given to seats with more leg room, a concept most airlines lacked. And upper class, where passengers were provided a first-class food menu, in-flight bar, and fitted flat bed. In 1991, Virgin Atlantic became the first airline to introduce in-flight entertainment system for each passenger of all classes. Despite such innovation in the aviation industry, Virgin Atlantic began experiencing financial issues with an evident loss of €9.3 million in 1993. In the height of the Western economic recession, the airline faced bankruptcy, and there was a rush of ideas about how to prevent the grim fate after barely a decade of service. A ray of hope appeared when the Civil Aviation Authority abolished the London Traffic Distribution Rules (TDR), which limited Virgin Atlantic base operations to Gatwick Airport. Introduced in 1978, the TDR aimed to address the limited capacity of Heathrow Airport in the face of growing air travel demand. The TDR started their airlines that did not operate international flights from Heathrow Airport will not be permitted operations there, but were to use Gatwick Airport instead. The abolition of TDR enabled Virgin Atlantic to capitalize where another popular airline, British Airways, hesitated. The expansion of base operations to Heathrow Airport saved Virgin Atlantic from bankruptcy, but it sparked a fierce competition between Virgin Atlantic and British Airways. British Airways threatened Virgin Atlantic's dominance in the UK's aviation industry by launching a smear campaign against Virgin Atlantic. From posting fake Virgin Atlantic staff to poach passengers to sniffing through private documents or any evidence that would undermine the Virgin Atlantic's reputation. Within the same year in 1993, Virgin Atlantic sued British Airways for libel and won. British Airways incurred severe financial losses, seized most of its operations, if not all, and issued a fine of €500,000 for damages to Branson and €110,000 to Virgin Atlantic. In 2000, Virgin Atlantic expanded its flight operations further in the Far East and sold 41% of its shares to Singapore Airlines, thus increasing its value to €1 billion. With this value, Virgin Atlantic became one of the biggest private airlines worldwide. By 2012, Delta Airline acquired the 41% stake that Singapore Airlines had with Virgin Airlines. Delta and Virgin Atlantic formed a strategic alliance and shared joint venture cost and revenue from their 31 flights between the UK and North America. In 2015, Virgin Airlines slashed about 500 jobs in order to develop a simpler but efficient organization structure and to make up for the years of loss between 2010 and 2013 that was about 233 million euros. Virgin Atlantic in recent years. Virgin Atlantic operates long-haul routes with its array of Airbus and Boeing traveling from its base airports Gatwick and Heathrow to 33 destinations in Africa, North America, Asia, the Caribbean and the Middle East. As of 2016, the airlines have carried over 5.6 million passengers with revenue generated at 2.6 million euros. This statistic shows Virgin Atlantic is the 7th largest airline in the UK. Virgin Atlantic, or the VHQ headquarters, is located in Crawley, United Kingdom, with international offices located in Dubai, Norwalk, Johannesburg, Barbados, Shanghai, Lagos, Hong Kong and Greater Delhi. As at 2018, Virgin Atlantic is estimated to worth about $7 billion. Thank you for watching our videos. We'd like to give you another interesting video for you to enjoy next. But before then, our team will be very happy if you can like this video and share it with your friends on social media. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss other interesting videos like this. Look at your screen now to see 2 other videos we handpicked for you to enjoy next. We love you.